Hey, what's up guys, it's Ronaldo here. So this video is going to focus on Cyril Ramaphosa doing everything in his power to avoid accountability, and I'll also explain the process that will now unfold. Now, just as a brief background, Cyril Ramaphosa addressed the nation last night and he said that he respected the Concourt's verdict on the fact that the Section 89 committee's findings need to now go to an impeachment committee that needs to do a lot of interviews and get to the bottom of the Cyril Ramaphosa Pala saga. Now, in true fashion, when everybody was thinking that Cyril Ramaphosa was going to step down as the president of this country, instead he said no, he's going to take this Section 89 committee's findings on review. Now the question is, why did he not do this 4 years ago when the Section 89 committee initially came out with their findings? Well, the reason for that is because the ANC protected him. Remember, there was a vote in Parliament with regards to this on whether or not this Section 89 committee's findings need to be accepted or rejected, and then the ANC voted in favor of rejecting it, and that is what was taken to the Constitutional Court, and then the Concourt came back and said, well, you should never have rejected it, it should have automatically have gone to impeachment committee, establishment and investigation. So now all of us thought, okay, well, this opens the doors to finally getting information with regards to what transpired. And then when we expected Cyril Ramaphosa and the ANC to do the right thing, they did what we actually all expected they would do from the start. Delay, 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 and deny, deny, deny. Now, this reminds me of somebody else that's a former president and was also the leader of the ANC, Jacob Zuma. And we all know he's guilty as sin. So this is just another delaying tactic by Cyril Ramaphosa. The odds of him being successful in taking this on review 4 years later already tells you that the only thing that they are doing now is playing for time. They don't want all of these ugly skeletons to come out in an election year, because the ANC is going to bleed even more votes than what they are already anticipating is going to be a bloodbath. But I'm going to just unpack what the Section 89 committee found, and then also what the potential path forward is, both for Parliament and for Cyril Ramaphosa. Before we get into it though, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. If you'd like to contribute financially to this channel, you can choose the super chat button below. That's a $sign, and you can donate, or you can become a member to this channel and it will be greatly appreciated. All right, so just as a quick recap, let's go and look at what the Section 89 committee actually found. Alright, so the Section 89 independent panel, chaired by a retired Chief Justice and also another retired judge and an advocate, released its report on the 30th of November 2022. The reason this is important is because, remember, he's taking this on review, but the people that actually sat on that committee were, like you can see, a Chief Justice, a retired judge, and an advocate. So that already tells you that his odds of getting this reviewed successfully is zero. So good luck with that delaying tactic over there. Anyway, it goes on to say that its mandate was narrow, determine whether there was sufficient evidence on a prima facie basis to warrant a full impeachment inquiry under Section 89 of the Constitution. It did not make final findings of guilt, which was what the purpose was of the Section 89 committee. So I'm not sure on what basis he's taking this on review, but he's not going to be successful. This is a delaying tactic through and through. Now, what the panel found, prima facie evidence. The panel concluded that the information before it disclosed prima facie evidence that President Ramaphosa may have committed a serious violation of Section 96(2)(a) of the Constitution, which is prohibiting the president from undertaking any other paid work. Now, considering that he was selling buffalo, or, whatever, according to his excuses, was selling, that is in actual fact doing other paid work. Also, a serious violation of Section 34(1) of the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act, specifically failing to report the theft of foreign currency to the police. Remember, he didn't report this. He took the matter into his own hands. Once again, not a stretch of the imagination, but actual evidence that anybody can find. So good luck once again with the review. Serious misconduct by acting in a way inconsistent with his office, and that forms part of the Constitution. Serious misconduct by exposing himself to a conflict of interest between his official responsibilities and private business interests. All of these things are pretty straightforward, pretty vanilla, and I mean, just based off of that, there's no real chance of him being successful. Key issues the panel highlighted related to the February 2020 theft of 580,000 US dollars in foreign currency at Pala Pala Farm. The large amount of undisclosed foreign currency hidden in furniture. Yeah. Questions about the origin of the money, allegedly from a buffalo sale to a Sudanese businessman. Handling of the theft investigation, including an alleged unofficial probe involving Namibian authorities and possible influence to protect the president. Gaps in explanations, for example, no proper tax records, animals still on the farm years later, suspects not prosecuted, possible breaches involving private business activities while in office, and the list goes on and on. The panel recommended that the report be referred for a full Section 89 impeachment inquiry. And that is what he wants to take on review. Now, what is Ramaphosa's basis for the judicial review? In his national address on the 11th of May 26, Ramaphosa announced he would challenge the report on review expeditiously. He has long maintained it is flawed and that he disagrees with its findings. His legal team advised that the report is reviewable on these main grounds. Now, listen carefully. Misconception of its mandate. He is telling two judges and an advocate that they don't understand their mandate. Go figure. The panel allegedly exceeded or misunderstood its limited role, preliminary sifting for prima facie evidence only, which is exactly what they did, and went beyond what a Section 89 preliminary inquiry should do. How? They didn't find him guilty, they just said that he's got a lot to answer for. Delaying tactic. Grave errors of law. Yes, two judges and an advocate, grave errors of law. Says Cyril Ramaphosa. Mistakes in interpreting constitutional provisions. Whatever. Unfounded conclusions of fact. The prima facie findings are not supported by sufficient admissible evidence. What, like $580,000 in a couch? The fact that you didn't open a case at a police station? The fact that you send your own private security to go and hunt for these people? Yeah, makes perfect sense. Whatever. So, the fact that he says it's on hearsay allegations with no or insufficient direct proof of any serious violation, misconduct, or breach of oath. Well, just let's ignore everything else, right? He does own Pala Pala, and he was involved in a business transaction with the businessman. Now, that is already a breach of your role as the president of this country. So I'm not sure what else you are going to try and find. Anyway, it goes on, but you get the picture. So ultimately, this is a delaying tactic by Cyril Ramaphosa because the ANC is in a very tight spot now. They would probably allow Cyril Ramaphosa to retire or to resign and step down from all of this, but then that opens the door to Paul Mashatile being the new president of this country. And the Cyril Ramaphosa faction in the ANC does not want that to happen because ultimately whoever controls the ANC controls the country. Well, hopefully that changes after the 2026 and 29 elections with outright majorities for other political parties where you don't even need a GNU, to be honest with you. But what is important to note here is that this does not prevent the Section 89 committee to continue with the establishment of an impeachment committee. So the only way that Cyril Ramaphosa can stop Parliament, who was instructed by the Constitutional Court to proceed with this. So this has to happen. And the Speaker of Parliament, who is an ANC individual, can't stop this from going ahead because the Concourt made it very, very clear. And we all know what happens when you go against the Concourt. Ask Jacob Zuma. But then again, also Cyril Ramaphosa bailed his buddy out of jail after that whole saga. But the point here is that this is just a delaying tactic attempt by Cyril Ramaphosa, because ultimately the impeachment committee must be established and that process must follow. The only way that Cyril can stop that is if he brings an interdict against this committee from being formed. I don't think that he would be that dumb, because if he does that, then that means that he is literally trying to avoid accountability. Then it becomes very, very clear, even more clearer than what it is right now. So by any stretch of the imagination, more than likely this impeachment committee over the next few weeks will be formed, and then ultimately the good things will start coming out, and good things for South Africa because we will uncover it, bad things for the ANC and bad things for Cyril Ramaphosa. And the cherry on the cake here is the fact that Cyril Ramaphosa can be forced to appear before this committee, whether his review is going on or not. So Parliament can summon him to appear before the committee, and he can't really say no, because the review, whether it's ongoing or not, has no bearing on this thing running in parallel. So there's a couple of things that is actually not really changed, because the only thing that has changed is that he thought he would be able to delay the impeachment committee from sitting, but in actual fact the Concourt was very clear, and you can go and read paragraph 166 of their finding to see that the judge said that this must continue. So he can review it, and let's say his review is successful, then everything else falls away. But like we said, it's not likely that this review is going to be successful. It's just a delaying tactic to try and stay out of that hot chair. But it doesn't look like that's going to take place. So this delaying tactic, not really massively successful, especially if Parliament can continue with the impeachment committee and start getting people in the hot chair so that they can answer questions. So we all thought initially that this was going to halt the impeachment proceedings, or the committee from sitting and doing interviews, but it's not. So now it's just a matter of Cyril Ramaphosa taking this on review, and then if the High Court strikes it down, then he can go to the Supreme Court of Appeal, and if they strike it down, he can go to the Constitutional Court. That is a delaying tactic that can last for years. But what is important is that all South Africans be exposed to what actually happened at Phala Phala. And I think this is something that is long overdue. In actual fact, 4 years overdue. So great attempt by Cyril Ramaphosa for dodging accountability, just like his predecessor Jacob Zuma. But ultimately, I believe that what happened to Jacob Zuma is going to happen to Cyril Ramaphosa, because you can lie, you can deny, and you can delay, but ultimately karma comes for you. And we all know that there is a lot more to this story than just a innocent business transaction. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to share this video far and wide. Smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free. And if you'd like to contribute to this channel financially, you can give a super thanks by hitting that $ below and choosing an amount. Or you can click on the join button below and become a member, and that comes with its own perks. But that's pretty much all I got to say. Till later. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.